everybody! Today we're going to talk about the skills assessment process if you are a chef. And for those of you who don't know me, I'm an immigration lawyer based in Australia. I'm currently the principal lawyer at Mason Chen Law Group. Now, this is for people who are chefs in Australia and want to migrate. You have to get a skills assessment. It's absolutely compulsory for the general skilled migration process. So for example, the 491, 189 or 190, as well as the direct entry 186 visa. It's also potentially required for the 482 visa, the temporary skill shortage 482 visa. However, that's a case-by-case basis. That depends on where you studied. It also depends on what your country or passport is. Now, before I get stuck into it, don't forget to like and subscribe and share this video with people who need it. So if you are a chef in Australia, the minimum requirements for a chef as per the ANSCO is a diploma. Now, this is the case, but also not. So it depends on what type of visa you're applying for. It's actually quite a funny one. I have done a lot of these applications, so I know you don't need a diploma in some instances, but I'll discuss them as we do it from different visa types and different skills assessment types. So the first one would be a 482. So depending on your country of passport and where you completed a qualification, you may need to complete a TSS skills assessment to be eligible for the 482 visa. So that's a TSS skills assessment. You don't need to complete the full skills assessment for that purpose. Now, if you're someone who completed your studies overseas as a chef, so you completed, for example, certificates in cookery, or one of the more popular ones is diploma in culinary arts or diploma in hospitality, and you have relevant work experience. So to get a full skills assessment, you generally need to have a certificate 4 as a chef. Certificate 4 does work, or a diploma of hospitality is even better, but you will need to check if these qualifications are equivalent to the Australian standards. So that's something that your agent or lawyer can check for you. If it's equivalent, then you need 3 years of full-time work experience, and then you'll be eligible for a skills assessment through Vet Assess or Trades Recognition Australia. They will do the full assessment for you. It's usually split into 2 components. So first of all, they will assess your qualifications and work experience from a documentation perspective. And then second of all, if that's past the requirements, they will actually do a workplace assessment. So if you are in Australia, the assessors will come out to you. If you are overseas, if you look at the drop-down menu on the website, it will show where you can do it. Most countries have it, but some also don't. You might need to go to the next neighboring country to complete the workplace skills assessment. So they'll complete that, and then you'll have a full skills assessment for purposes of your permanent residency application, general skilled migration, or 186 direct entry visa. Now, the third way that you can get a skills assessment is through the Job Ready program. Now, this is reserved for people who studied in Australia. So you must have completed your qualifications in Australia. Now, the standard pathway in Australia is Certificate 3, Certificate 4, then Diploma. So it's usually Certificate 3 in cookery, Certificate 4 in kitchen management. That's why the Certificate 4 is really important, because as a chef, you are not so much responsible for the cooking. I mean, you're always cooking and stuff, but you are essentially managing the kitchen and you're managing, the whole back of house. And then you have Diploma of Hospitality. So that is usually the package course you get. I do know there's some people that have just done Certificate 3 and Certificate 4 and start the Job Ready program. That's also possible too, but as I said, you would assess that on a case-by-case basis. So then you start the Job Ready program. We call it JRP. So if you hear a lot of people talking about JRP, this is what they're talking about. There's 4 steps for the JRP. The first step is the provisional skills assessment. The second step is the Job Ready eligibility. So once you've completed the assessment, all you need is qualifications and a valid passport. Then you'll start JRE. So you'll have to complete 1 year of full-time work experience as a chef. So during that time, then the step 2, you'll need to provide your pay slips and everything to prove that you're working as a chef for those 12 months. Then you'll start JRWA, which is Job Ready Workplace Assessment. They'll come out to your workplace and they'll assess that you actually have the skills to do that. I personally have never heard of anyone failing this, especially if you work for 1 year as a chef. It should should be relatively easy. And the fourth is the job ready final assessment. So they'll check everything and then they'll provide you with a document that is a full skills assessment. So that's done through Trades Recognition Australia. And that's the document you need to apply for any sort of skilled migration or the direct entry 186 visa in Australia. That also works. So I kind of mentioned 3 different streams there. So there's one for TSS 482 visa, which is quite simple, not as much as involved. Then you have the standard pathway. You need to have the relevant qualifications plus 3 years of full-time work experience. If you don't have the relevant qualifications, if you have more work experience, it can be used in lieu of that as well. So generally speaking, they're looking for 6 years full-time. And then the last one is the job ready program, which is the one that most people go for. So you study for your 2 years, then you work for 1 year. So that's 3 years in total. And then you'll have your skills assessment ready to apply for permanent residency. Now, when you do get your skills assessment, you need to do an English test. You'll need to score at least 65 points to be invited for a skilled visa. And the likelihood or the speed that you'll be invited at, it depends on the state that you're living in. So we can go through that in another video so you guys can understand that step by step. But overall, I think that chefs is a great pathway for permanent residency. And it's also quite realistic in the way that once you graduate, it's pretty easy to secure a job as a chef. Whereas a lot of people, you have all these other occupations. It's not exactly easy to walk out of, studying and then getting a full-time job in that occupation to then apply for a skills assessment and PR. So that's what I like personally about this occupation. So if you guys want to do a deeper dive into this, I have courses on courses.tracymigration.com.au. Feel free to go and check them out. I'll leave the link below. I hope you guys enjoyed that video and I'll see you guys in the next video.